All right, you're welcome back from that short break. I'm not here alone because I have Kingsley Emmanuel with me this morning. Kingsley, good morning and welcome to Sport Talk.
Yeah, Mike, thank you very much for having me. Nice to be here.
All right, let's get started from the world of athletics as the Confederation of African Athletics Federation has released the qualification standard for the 24th African Senior Athletics Championship scheduled for May 12th to 17th, 2026 at the University of Ghana Stadium in Accra. The standard outline entry marks for men's and women's track, field, and combined events, including a sprint, middle, and a longer distance and a field discipline. The announcement officially opens the qualification race for athletes across the continent as preparation begin in earnest for the African Athletics Championship. So the first edition was massive. Nigeria did pretty well. This time around, do you see Team Nigeria even going beyond what they did the last edition?
I think that should be the aim. That should be the standard, as it stands. Team Nigeria should be looking forward in, getting something huge, at this, particular edition of the Athletics Championship. Because you can't just afford to, of course, put up a very impressive performance last time, and then you come up this time to maybe not have a very impressive performance. I think when you take a look at what Shehu Diko has done, when it comes to building athletes and as well aiming at, the impressive performance, not just medals, you tend to say that, of course, it's yielding fruits. And with this coming up, I think Team Nigeria should be looking forward to at least surpassing their previous record of their previous performance. And I think that should be the aim at this point in time. It's not going to be easy, but we look forward to see them, of course, trying as much as you can, to better the records than what we saw last time.
All right, we see how this one will pan out. Team Nigeria preparing massively, and Ghana, the host for this year's edition, they are also preparing. As some inspection team have gone out to inspect some of the facilities, and we are hoping that they will be ready for the action. All right, let's take our racket down to the court of tennis, talking about table tennis this morning, because Nigeria's table tennis star and the highest ranked player in Africa, Quadri Haruna, will begin his season at the WTT Championship in Doha later today, when he will take on China's Liang Jinkun in men's round 32 clash. Kingsley, last edition, that is last season, it was a season to forget for Haruna Quadri because he did not hit that high apex where we expected him. Though he still retained his #1 ranking in Africa and 28th in the world. And last year as well, he failed to qualify for this same WTT championship. Do you see him improving this year compared to what we saw of him last year?
I think we should be aiming at looking at Haruna Quadri, of course, improving. All right, we should be looking at him improving because it's not been a rosy one for him in the last, if you take a look at it, in the last 3 years. Haruna has been experiencing a dwindling performance, and this time around, we should be looking at Haruna Quadri, cementing his place as the Nigerian best table tennis player, even you could say one of African best, table tennis player to say. So that's what we should be looking at this point in time, is an improved performance from Haruna Quadri. The things have not really been that, fantastic for him. We find it difficult, of course, to get to the quarterfinal or semi-final of any competition, and it's not a good one, for a player like him, as it stands. So this year, we should be looking forward to see Haruna, stepping up his performance. When you come back home and take a look at table tennis, you will see that he's the only hope, of course, we have when it has to do with, table tennis, in the country. Some other players are not really living up to expectation. So all eyes on Haruna Quadri. Will understand that age is not really by his side due to the fact that, of course, the man is really aging. You might say the energy might not really be there. But when you take a look at it, his experience alone, I think, can help him. We understand also that he's gradually winding down, because if you take a look at Aruna at this point, you will know that the man is gradually moving down to retirement. So I would just look forward to see what 2026, of course, holds for Aruna Quadri.
All right, looking forward to see what 2026 will hold for Haruna Quadri. Still talking about 2026 and his last time uninspiring outing, Kingsley. He will be coming up against a Chinese star, and you and I know that the Chinese, they've dominated the table tennis world for a very long time. In fact, if you take a look at the rankings right now, the Chinese dominate, closely followed by the Brazilians. Do you see Haruna Quadri, standing his ground against this Chinese star?
And that's where the problem is, because the Chinese are very good when it comes to table tennis, as it stands. So him facing a Chinese, table tennis player, I'm a little bit scared. When you take a look at, his previous performance, wasn't that fantastic, and you're facing someone, of course, who truly understands the game, as it stands. So really, might be a tricky one, for Aruna Quadri. But let's just see what comes up. It is the first round. For some time now, we've always seen Aruna, skate through first, second round. But like I said, it has always been difficult for him to get to the round of 16 or quarterfinal of any competition. But is this the first round? And I believe he will want to, of course, try as much as he can to see how to get the job done. It's a Chinese player. The pairing has been done already, so it is left for Aruna to buckle up and try to look for strategy, to get the job done.
All right, so we'll just wish Haruna Quadri well as he bid to have an impressive 2026 after that uninspiring outing in the last year. But for now, let's wear our hand gloves and head straight to the ring of boxing this morning, because the president of Nigerian Boxing Board of Control, Dr. Rafiu Ladipo, has outlined ambitious plan to further transform professional boxing in the country. Speaking at a press conference in Lagos on Tuesday, Ladipo said the board has succeeded in giving professional boxing a new lease of life since he came on board. Do you agree with this, Kingsley, that since he came on board, he has given the Nigerian boxers a new lease of life in terms of players, athletes' welfare, and of course the monetary increment which he talked about? You and I know that boxing is one of the key area of sport where we used to have some gains and major strength in the 70s, 80s. But this day, we have not really gotten it right since the last time we saw Samuel Peter dominate the heavyweight division. Now, with the coming in of the new board control Supremo, he is claiming that he has given them a new lease of life. Do you actually agree with what we are seeing on ground in terms of Nigerian boxing?
I've not really seen yet, when you say you've given them a new platform, or probably you've looked into their welfare, and all of that. We've not really seen that, because I think all of this will definitely speak volume when we start seeing the performance of the boxers, when we start seeing some boxing championship, of course, in the country, and also seeing boxers going out there, to put up a very impressive performance, globally. I think at this point in time, we shouldn't actually be it shouldn't be very vocal. All right, you should allow, results speak for him. You shouldn't just say, oh, I've been trying my best to put up things, the boxers' welfare and every other thing, of course, have been put in place. We want to see results. Let boxing get back, of course, to limelight, in Nigeria. That's the thing, because if you look at it, boxing has been on the decline, for some time now. It will go down to the Olympics. Boxers find it difficult, of course, to compete. So you ask yourself, what are we really doing when it has to do with boxing? Why is it that in the past boxing was thriving, but now it has really, really declined? What were we doing before that we cannot, of course, maybe replicate or modify, in this era, to make sure that, we get our boxers, back to limelight? These are things we should be considering at this point in time. So for me, coming out, yes, it's good for him to come out to tell the world what he's been doing. But for me, I would say he should just let it be for his results, of course, to speak for him at this point in time. Yesterday, we were talking about the female boxer, Oshoba. Yes, who actually, of course, got a very impressive ranking, this year. And for me, I think that should be a source of inspiration, to boxers, especially to the Boxing Federation, that they can also produce the next Oshoba, that could go out there and put up a very impressive performance. So for me, I think these are things we should be looking at, not being vocal at this point. The year is just starting. What we should be interested or particular about is what do we do to bring that result, at this point in time. Not coming to say welfare has been taken care of. All of those things are good, but strategies to make sure that these boxers get back to reckoning is what we need at this point in time, so that we can see Nigerian boxing, up there. We have great talent, all right? I believe the likes of the Oshoba, the Anthony Joshua, and the rest of them also, they hail from here. So I believe we still have people who can, of course, put Nigerian map, up there. So let's just see what comes up. Good to be vocal about what they've done, but I think for me, they should be particular about the results.
Particular about the results, meaning that action should speak more volume than just talking on the pages of a newspaper and media. But then we just keep our fingers crossed, hoping that boxing fortune will improve in the country. Meanwhile, the president also revealed that the board has organized 85 fighters since he became the president, and disclosed the bigger plans for the sport expansion across the country. Ladipo also used the opportunity to pray for a quick recovery of AJ, talking about Anthony Joshua. All right, let's step away from that and dive straight to the UFC. That is the Ultimate Fighter Championship, because former two-time middleweight champion Israel Adesanya has ruled out any move to boxing after his mixed martial arts career ends, insisting his legacy will be completed in the Ultimate Fighter Championship. So Israel Adesanya not considering of him leaving the UFC, or even after he has left the UFC, to try his strength in the world of boxing, just like we've seen from Gono and the rest of some boxers who are also former UFC fighters. You think Israel Adesanya, after what we've seen of him, a very great UFC fighter, he has the physical strength, which is what is one of the major areas that people fear him most, is about his stamina to stay long on the ring. If he takes such stamina to the ring of boxing, don't you think that he's going to maximize that potentials in him?
Boxing is not about stamina. Yes, you need to have stamina, but do you have the skill? All right. Are you used to what it takes to be in the boxing ring, not the UFC ring? At this point in time, you see so many UFC fighters. They've tried it, but they find it difficult. The likes of Francis Ngannou, you know how he was beating Kamaru. I think, was it Kamaru Usman? No, it wasn't Kamaru Usman. Francis Ngannou, yes, in particular, he tried it. Was not successful. I think we saw him against Tyson Fury and also Anthony Joshua, to say you could see how he was beating. All right, I know he had a little bit of, edge against, Tyson Fury, but against Joshua, who was very much ready, you saw how that bout, of course, ended via knockout. So for me, it's not about having stamina to see who can last in the ring, but are you acquainted with the boxing ring? Are you acquainted with the skill? Boxing is different from UFC. Boxing, you make use of your hand mostly. UFC, you can do with your hands and, of course, with your legs. So it's a different ball game, at this point in time. Except you want to go into training for a very long time, before coming down to, boxing. Of course, to get used to the skill and all of that, which possibly is not a guarantee that he's going to come be a champion, of course, in boxing, or probably be, one of the top fighters when it comes to boxing. It's not a guarantee. So For me, for Israel Adesanya, with the way his career has experienced setback, I think he should just focus on his UFC and try to rejuvenate himself back and see maybe he can, of course, be one of that man that everyone, of course, will talk about, once again, from what we've seen. For him to say he wants to go into boxing, I don't think that would be a good idea. What if he goes and he's also the continue, he continue to experience defeat? It will be a huge dent, to him as a fighter. So for me, he should just focus on his UFC career and see how to bring back his career back to limelight.
All right, so hope that Israel Adesanya is going to listen and stay with what has given him fame and popularity. All right, let's head straight to the court of basketball and service some of the results that came through in the NBA 3 hours of this morning. As Bolton Celtic, they lost at home to Denver Nuggets 110 to 114. Charlotte Hornets also lost at home narrowly to Toronto Raptors 96 to 97, while Detroit Pistons also beat Chicago Bulls 108 to 93. Philadelphia 76ers got a better of a Washington Wizards with 131 to 110. Atlanta Hawks got a better of a New Orleans Pelicans 117 to 100 point. Brooklyn Nets also lost narrowly to Orlando Magic, who was indeed magical against Brooklyn Nets 103 to 104. It ended in favor of Orlando Magic. New York Knicks also beat LA Clippers 123 to 111. Memphis Grizzlies, they were grizzled away at home by Phoenix Suns 117 to 98. Oklahoma City Thunders, yes, they indeed thundered against Utah Jazz to beat the Jazz 129 to 125 in 4-point supremacy battle. The OKC Kingsley, they've been massive, very resilient, consistent so far in the new NBA season 2025/2026. From the way the OKC are going, do you see them winning this year's championship?
I think they've been very, very impressive. All right, they've been very, very impressive. The players have been living up to expectation. But talking about winning a championship, the season is still very long. Anything can happen at this point in time. I think what you just need now is to maintain this level of consistency, and I just hope that injury does not take down the key players, because when injuries start playing in like this, you start seeing, of course, a drop in terms of performance. So I just hope that, the players, try to live up to expectation and avoid, sustaining injury. I think that is what, of course, will help them to maintain this consistency going forward.
For Oklahoma City Thunders, they'll be very impressive throughout the course of the 2025/2026 season, as they've kept a near perfect record, beating team, shattering them away for fun, both home and away. So I seem to be on the driver's seat talking about Oklahoma City Thunder. We just hope that they can continue to thunder on with some fine results and see if they can be able to win the championship. But at this point, we'll take a quick break from the non-footballing stories. When we are back in the second half, we'll talk everything that you need to know in the world of football. We can also let you know that there promises to be yet another English Premier League clash this weekend, as Arsenal will be hoping to continue their impressive run. But beyond that, Chelsea Football Club, their poor form of run continues as they drop points last night. All these and many more will be yours when we are back from this short break. Don't go anywhere. All right, welcome back from this short break. Let's head straight to the world of football, but we'll start from the Nigerian Women Football League here. As match day 5 of the Nigerian Women Football League Premiership produced a mixed and narrow results with commanding performances and hard-fought draws across various centers nationwide, highlighting the league's growing competitiveness. In Lagos, we saw Robo Queens secure a crucial victory against Ahudiyanem Queens, thanks to an early strike from Opeyemi in the opening minutes. Kingsley, other Nigerian Women Football League matches also went down yesterday, but then the big win for the Women League yesterday was Rivers Angels going away from home to spark their opponent 3 goals to nothing, with Basiofon scoring hat-trick in that very game. Nigerian Women Football League after the break is back. Are you excited, and how are you feeling about the result of Rivers Angels?
I think for me, that encounter, I didn't have any, much concern, because I knew that Rivers Angels were going to deliver. Adamawa Queens, they've been the whipping ladies, in the Nigerian Women Football League for some time now. Even when they came down to Andoke Messi Castillo, I think that was last season, they were heavily beaten by Rivers Angels. I think that was about 5-0 or something. So I was not really much concerned about that encounter, because I knew that with the level of Rivers Angels, the players and the coach talking about Toussaint Blancin, they have what it takes, of course, to get the job done, down there at Adamawa. And for me, I think it was a good one, seeing the Nigerian Women Football League, of course, back. It's sometimes, when it comes to league resumption, it's always, of course, a problem. You always hear numerous postponements, but this time around, of course, the league resumed, when they all agreed that it will resume. And I think for me, it's a good one. If the league, of course, could continue like this, I think it will really, of course, go a long way in terms of, development, as it stands. So another moment, another time, of course, where we tend to see some interesting fixtures, promises to be another interesting season. The likes of Robo Queens, the likes of Rivers Angels. They talk about Bayelsa Queens as well. These are teams that we will be looking out for to see what they will bring to the table, at the end of the day.
All right. And meanwhile, the likes of Bayelsa Queens also, got an impressive, result against Ibom Angels, 2-1. It ended in their favor. Meanwhile, Delta Queens as well maintained their strong home form in Asabas. They defeated Danas Ladies 2-0. Enough of that. Let's talk about the African Cup of Nations and the Super Eagles, because the Super Eagles training fees yesterday amid concerns over unpaid bonuses, following reports that players and officials were prepared to boycott training and delay their travel plans to Marrakesh unless outstanding entitlements were settled. This is another concern, Kingsley. It is not the first time we could recall that in November as well, when we were about to play the crucial World Cup encounter against Gabon, the players also boycotted training because of this same issue. 4 matches played so far, the ongoing African Cup of Nations, and no bonuses has been played for all these 4 matches, according to report. What does this speak? The kind of picture that it paints for the Nigerian Football Federation?
I think for me, it's very bad. It's very, very bad. Why would things like this, continue in Nigerian football? This shows that we're not serious. Honestly, the Nigerian Football Federation, those in there, I don't think they're doing anything, because you should be able to prepare for all of these things. You know that you'll be having a World Cup qualifiers, and when these players come, you have to pay them match bonuses. Why don't you make preparation before time? It is afterwards, okay, when the players are finished playing, you now tell them stories and they will go. Come back again and play. You still tell them stories again. All right? Now we're talking about the African Cup of Nations. 4 games played, no match bonus is being paid. I don't understand what the NFF, I don't understand what they're doing. Are they not making money in that federation? If there is no money or whatever, can they look for sponsors, people that will possibly, cater for all of this? Why will you always, attach yourself to embarrassment at every point in time? Because this is embarrassment. Tell us, among the countries that actually went for this African Cup of Nations, how many of them have come out to see, their players have come out to see we are being owed match bonuses? Only Nigeria. And we'll call ourselves African giants, at the end of the day. But we're not looking like giants. This is pure embarrassment, and it is not good. At every point in time, players will be complaining of bonuses. I think the players, they have learned their lesson, because they know that once they continue like this, maybe they get to the final and win the title, nothing. They will just say, thank you very much, and all of that. Don't worry, we'll send your match bonuses, and they will never see it. Maybe the next time they have to call them to play. And some of these players, some of them might not be called. So these are things that some of these players have taken upon themselves, that you must pay us our match bonuses. Because maybe the likes of Onachu, maybe Onyeka or the Red, do not need to even call them in the next game. And then you can't talk about the match bonuses and all of that. So it is very, very, very disappointing. I don't know what the Nigeria Football Federation are doing. I don't know what Ibrahim Gusso is doing. You can't pay match bonuses every day. Players will be coming out to complain. What are you doing as the president of the federation? It is bad. It is really, really bad. Salary, you're not the one paying the coach salary. Or you pay the players match bonuses, you're still complaining. Well, what are you doing there? So for me, I think it's really, really an embarrassment. A whole lot of distraction. That was how the players also were distracted based on match bonuses in the World Cup qualifiers. And now they brought it to the African Cup of Nations, that the players are even trying to see how they can even try to redeem their image, before Nigeria, due to what happened, in the World Cup qualifiers. And now they are still coming to bring distraction again.
We hope that this is not going. We hope that this is not going to be an excuse if they get to fail against Algeria. Because, with this kind of demoralizing attitude coming from NFF, it could go a whole long way to demoralize the players. They were supposed to leave first yesterday to Marrakesh. But because of that, they did not leave. The players just decided, okay, let's just train. They had made up their mind not to train, but then maybe the leader of the team, the captain and other big players in the team decided to say, okay, let us train. But then we are not going to travel to Marrakesh, pending on when this issue is resolved. That is more like a warning sign that they will not play or even train or even move to from Fez to Marrakesh. Do you think that with all of this is going to distract them in the next game against Algeria?
It's already a distraction, because you're supposed to move from Fez to Marrakesh at least to get yourself acclimatized with 1 or 2 trainings and all of that. For the encounter, a huge encounter against Algeria. And then we're talking about match bonuses that we're not traveling, and all of that. It's already a distraction. This can go a long way in demoralizing the player, just like you said, mentally. Confidence level low. The players would not be so passionate. We'll say, after all, what are we doing? We'll come play, put up our best. At the end of the day, even to pay the match bonuses, is a problem. So it could go a long way, of course, in making the players not to give their best, on the pitch of play. Say, after all, okay, what are we fighting for? If I'm fighting for my country, at the end of the day, I'm not rewarded. What is the essence? That's the thing. So it's really bad, and I blame Ibrahim Gusso for all of this that's happening. I don't want to try to spill out some things at this point in time, because it is very, very disappointing. How can you be the president of a particular federation and you see that you're not working, you're sleeping? Every day, is it that the coach comes out to say, I've not been paid, or the players come out to say, bonuses were not paid? It's bad. It means you're not doing anything. You just sleep and we have African Cup of Nations, no problem. Call the players. We'll go there and you owe them. It is bad. It's bad.
I think it's a very troubling time for the Super Eagles. We are not just trying to make fun of it, but then it is somehow funny that, we keep going back to the same trenches. We seem not to be learning. The bonus issue has affected the Super Eagles team for some time in some of the games, at a point where we thought all that has been resolved. We are seeing yet another moment of worry for the Super Eagles, as report has it that they've refused to leave a feast for Marrakesh, where they will be taking on Algeria in the quarter-final. We just hope that all of this will be resolved. We also hear that NFF have come out to say that the players will travel today. We just keep our fingers crossed, hoping that that is going to be the case. But then let's head straight to England, because Fulham claimed a 2-1 victory over Chelsea Football Club at Craven Cottage last night, leaving the Blues to ponder their struggles as new head coach Liam Rosenio observed from the stand. Chelsea were reduced to 10 men in the 22nd minute when Mark Cucurella was shown a straight red card. Kingsley, the poor result for Chelsea continues despite parting ways with Enzo Maresca. The under-21 coach who took charge in the game against Manchester City claimed that vital point against City. Some thought maybe against Fulham he was going to consolidate on that point gain from Manchester City, but then it was it dropped a point yesterday, all 3 points to them, and you saw how they struggled. Fulham controlling largely the game yesterday, and we saw the new man talking about Liam Rosenio on the stand alongside Bali that yesterday. With this kind of inconsistency from Chelsea, manager going, manager coming, interim taking charge in 2 games, do you see this Chelsea team finishing in top 4 with what you are seeing?
I don't see them finishing in top 4. It will be difficult. When Arsenal are there, Manchester City are there, Aston Villa are there, all right? It will be difficult for Chelsea to finish, top 4. It will be really, really difficult. Liverpool are also there. So, what Chelsea, what are they doing? Yesterday's results, I don't even blame the players. I don't even blame the under-21 coach. I blame Todd Bowley and his board. Honestly, they've been messing up Chelsea. They've really, really been messing up Chelsea. How can you just let a manager who is trying to put things in place, who has come to redefine things so far in the team, won you 2 trophies in the space of 1 season, and then you're letting him go just because he doesn't want to yield to your, profit-making strategy? All right, Todd Bowley is just there to make money at Chelsea. All of those players you were seeing, Enzo Maresca, every day he will have a particular set of 11, first 11. It was as a result of the board. They were trying to say, okay, showcase these players, let them play so that their market value will increase. That's what Enzo was trying to do. But he was tired of it, because at the end of the day, it bounces back to his image as a coach. Oh, this Enzo Maresca, what is it? Are you sure he's a good coach? And the possibility of him being hired by another club is slim, because if you don't perform very well, you will not be hired, or a very big team will not consider you, to be hired at this point in time. So for me, I think Todd Bowley and his board, their profit-making strategy has really, really affected, Chelsea. Chelsea is not the team, of course, we used to know before, especially under Abramovich. We know it's a new administration, and all of that. Things have to change. But there's one thing Chelsea is being known of: winning trophies. That's what the fans are known for. That's what the fans crave for every season. And that's why Abramovich was there just to satisfy the fans. Even when he left, he didn't even make the amount of money invested in the side. But Todd Bowley and his board came and they said, we are here for money. And you starve the fans of trophies, you starve the fans of good performance, you starve the fans of good football. So for me, I'm really blaming Todd Bowley and his board for everything that has been happening at Chelsea. Top 4 finish is not a guarantee at all this season for Chelsea.
Top 4 finish is not a reality for Chelsea Football Club with this kind of uninspiring performance. Letting coach go, bringing in a new coach. The circle of sacking of coaches might not just help the chemistry of this team to get proper, because playing under different managers will not really give a player that stability to read the game plan of a certain manager. When one manager comes play for a few months with the players, will be sacked, a new manager will come, new ideas, So this does not really help the players to get proper rhythm in their game. I would just hope that Chelsea will reposition the club for good so that their fans as well will have joy. All right. Let's have you some other results that came through in the English Premier League, rather, because Bournemouth surprisingly beat Tottenham Hotspur at home 3-2. Brentford also beat Sunderland 3-0. Crystal Palace played zeros against Aston Villa, while Everton were held at home by Wolves 1-1. Fulham, we told you, beat Chelsea 2-1, while Manchester City dropped a point yet again at home against Brighton and Hove Albion. Burnley 2, Manchester United 2, Newcastle United 4, Leeds 3. Today we'll see Arsenal at the Emirates Stadium welcoming Liverpool. Kingsley, first off, just within the space of 60 seconds, Man City dropping point against Brighton, another title dent for them, and for Arsenal tonight they will be facing Liverpool. Haven't seen that City drop points again. This will be the gain for Arsenal, but it depends on what happens tonight. Do you see Arsenal taking full advantage of the fact that City dropped points again against Liverpool tonight?
I think they will. There is no option at this point in time. If they are really serious about the title this season, this is an opportunity. I think if they win today, they go 8 points clear. Because City took, I think, 1 point yesterday. Yeah. So for me, Arsenal have no choice than to take all 3 points tonight. They are playing at Emirates. They are playing at home. So they have everything at stake, at this point in time. So far, so good. They've been fantastic, all right? So against Liverpool, we know it's going to be a very tough one. The first game, Liverpool took that one with that last free kick, of course, we saw. But I think this time around, Arsenal will be more rejuvenated. They'll be very much ready, knowing what 3 points, of course, means to them in this particular encounter.
All right, we'll stay glued to our TV set tonight to watch this massive showdown between Arsenal at the Emirates Stadium against Liverpool. But then we are running out of time, as we'll make a return in the evening where we'll have more time to dissect all that you need to know regarding this game and other big stories in the world of sports. I did a show this morning alongside my colleague Kingsley Emmanuel. My name is Emmanuel Michael, the Prime Minister of the Airways, and we are saying have a great day ahead.